What's up, guys? You back once again with another episode with Louis Firearms. Here, what we talk about, learn about, hear about, or just shooting firearms. Today, I got the Glock out, the Canik TP9DA, and today I'm gonna show you how to disable this baby, clean her up real good, and put it back together. So let's get this thing started. And the only thing you're gonna need is your gun cleaning kit. You have your cleaner, you have your oil, you have your wipes, your little accessories to go on your attachment to clean out your barrel, and whatever else you're gonna use this to clean out. That's all you're gonna need. And to get started, first thing first, let's make sure we save. There is no clip. There is no shots inside of my gun. Everything is empty. So now that we are safe, let's get this baby going. First thing you have to do is remove your hammer off the top. And to do that, you have a little button on the side. You pull your trigger first, and if you're in a location where someone lives below you, do not point your gun down. Do not point it up if someone lives on top of you. Point it to a safe area where if there is a shot inside there, you will not harm yourself or anybody else. Me, I'm down in the basement. No one is below me, so I will go downwards. Pull my trigger. You take that clip that you just had, pull it down, push your hammer forward, and she is taken apart. The bottom half of your gun, put it down. The top half, you have a spring here on the top. All you do is push that spring forward, lift it out of there, it comes straight out. Now you have all your components for your gun taken apart. You're ready to clean. First thing you want to do, take your cloth that you have. Give everything a quick wipe down. Because the oil that's on there right now, you're trying to get most of the oil that's on there right now off, because that oil might have gunpowder residue, smoke residue inside of it, and it's not clean oil, so you want to get most of it off before you start cleaning your gun. So you give all your components a nice wipe off with your rag. Just to give it a quick clean. Now, after that, you will be doing your deep cleaning, and we're gonna start with the hammer part of. I'm going to start with the hammer part of my gun. So the first thing, your Brillo brush, your wool brush. You take this brush, and this will clean out some of the heavy stuff, anything that's stuck inside there, that's jammed up inside there, or it's kind of thick, and you just can't wipe out with your cloth that you're going to use for your cleaner. Oh, I am running out of cloths. So my cloth, take one cloth in the cleaning residue. I always fold it up in the square so that it'll be over everything. I don't have to pour it on. All I have to do is give it one dab like that. Open my square back up, and it's everywhere. Now I go inside, give a good wipe down. Now, and with just that little wipe down, she is definitely dirty. So I typically, I do this wipe down like this 2 times. I wouldn't go crazy wiping over and over. I give it a wipe down. One good wipe down the first time, the second wipe down, and then I take my rag and I wipe all the extra residue out. And when you're wiping this down, please, where your pen comes out, get that area, especially that area, get that area very good. You want that area to be clean. You don't want no residue being built up in that area right there. Okay, so now after you got it all cleaned off, then you take your cloth, get all that cleaning liquid off of there, and it's nice and dry. So that part is done. We're going to sit that to the side and let that dry off. For now, it's done. We're going to sit that to the side and let it dry off. Next is your barrel. Now, your barrel is different from that one. The barrel, you got your inside and you got your out. So we're going to deal with the outside because it's easier. We're going to do that first. And just wipe off. It shouldn't be that dirty. The barrel shouldn't be that dirty, not the outside. This back area, make sure you get this back area nice and clean. And if you see the bottom part of this area here was black like the gun, and that ain't the color. That part is chrome. A light chrome. And that baby was black. So I can imagine how the barrel, inside the barrel looks. So to get in the barrel, you're going to sit that part to the side. We're going to still use it because this is our first wipe down. Take your attachments. In your attachments, you can use this brush. I would prefer using this brush. You can use that brush, or you could use just a little stop, or a little... It's a little piece that holds the, you poke a hole inside of the cloth and it holds onto it and you just clean it out. But the brush, first thing we do is go through with the brush in and out, nice and smooth. That'll get all of the heavy stuff inside your barrel. Give it a nice clean inside there. And the brush is not metal. It's plastic, so don't worry about it damaging inside of your barrel. You take that piece off, then you put this attachment on. Now this attachment is specifically for your cloth. You put the cloth on it, you poke the little pin through the top. So it's holding the cloth good, and you push it through. The cloth falls off, it's only a push through, it's not a pull back. You can, get inside there and wiggle it a little bit before you push it all the way through, just to clean inside there, then push out. That first one, like I said, your gun is going to be dirty because you're not cleaning your gun every time you shoot it. I'm not cleaning my gun thoroughly every time I shoot it. I clean it once a month. If I'm at the range, once a week, every week, then I'm cleaning my gun about once a month. Now, if you can see that, she's clean. That brush does inside of the barrel, good cleaning inside of the barrel when you run that brush inside there. And clean it out with that brush first. So the barrel is good. So what you want to do with your barrel that you're not going to do with all your other components because you can't do it with your other components. You can't put this rag through your barrel to dry it out. So you're going to take a dry cloth and you're just going to go in your barrel and you're going to dry off inside there. And that's it. You dry off inside there. That one is still clean. The barrel was clean before I use it, so I will be using that on another component of my gun. And then everything goes, the outside of it, I take my cloth, dry it off. Because before you put the oil on there, you definitely want your gun dried completely before you start oiling her up. So that's my barrel. Back to new. Now we're going to go on to the inside of my gun. Now on the inside of your gun, this one is back in play. You give it a good brush down inside there. Inside here shouldn't be that dirty. Only place that should be a little dirty is right above the trigger, right above behind the trigger. That area might be a little bit more dirty than any place else with this in this area. After I clean it and I oiled it down and everything, if I feel that it's anything inside there that's jamming it up or something like that, then I go inside and I'll go inside and clean inside of it, take all the pieces apart and clean inside there. But for right now, I don't feel I have to go inside there. Everything is running nice and smooth. So, see, like I said, right above the trigger, she is gonna be dirty. Okay, so we did our first wipe down. Let's get another cloth and let's see if we need. Get another cloth and we're gonna do our second wipe down. See if she cleaned out yet. Typically, I just do 2 wipe downs inside this gun because I clean this gun, like I said, I clean this gun quite often. And it don't be that dirty. And she is still dirty. That's better. It's a lot better. Yes, it had a lot of residue from shooting this gun. Alright, so that should be good for this one. Okay, so that's the clean down. Now let's do the oil down. Let's start off with the hammer of it. So with this part of your gun, what you are going to oil, this circle where your barrel comes through, you would just put a dab of oil on that. Just a dab of oil. And wipe it in. I'm pretty sure your pinky could fit inside there and you just wipe it in. You don't want to put that much, just a dab. Just a little dab. Now when I say a little dab, this thing got a needle on the tip of it. And this is giving you just as much, as little bit of oil as you need. You're going to be very careful using this. And then what you want to do with the top part of it, right here on the bottom part, where you got all your components that actually pull your hammer, that moving inside here, you just want to dab a little oil inside of there. Just to make sure that those components is moving. Just to make sure that them components is going to be moving real good. And this is going to sit for a minute. So when you put it on, keep it upright. Next to the next part you want to oil is, you have a groove in the back right here of your hammer where you're going to slide it onto your gun. That groove, you want to take just the needle, put it in that groove and let just a little bit of oil, not that much oil, just a little bit, come out in that groove. So you don't want to squeeze it that hard, you just want to give it a little slight squeeze. Now this, sit to the side, let it sit there until you're ready to put everything back together. Your barrel. What you want to do with your barrel is put a little oil on your barrel. Now you see when I say a little oil, I mean a little oil. And just wipe your barrel down. Wipe it in. You don't want your barrel to be dry and you don't want it to be over oil. This part of your barrel, the back end of your barrel, you don't have to mess with it. You don't have to bother with that. That's going to be exposed anyway. So you don't have to bother that. Take your barrel, slide it back into place. Now your spring, you have not touched your spring yet. When you get to this part, give it a slight brush. Just brush inside there. Your spring should not be dirty. If it is dirty, I don't think nothing with the force on this spring, I don't think nothing inside here, unless it's a big pebble, something inside there that you could physically see inside there, it's not going to disturb your spring. With your spring, you want to get your spring slightly oiled. I go inside each part of my spring and just dab. I'm not squeezing it. I'm just letting whatever oil that's going to drip out of there, I'm just wiping it inside of the spring. Inside of the spring area. So by not squeezing it, all it's doing is putting one line of oil on it. All it is just the oil is just sitting on the tip of it and you just wiping it into the spring. You don't have to do nothing to your spring. You don't have to play, move it around. You don't have to do nothing. Just let it sit inside there. Put it back into place. Now you got the top half of your gun oiled up, ready to go in. The bottom half of your gun, when you pull your trigger, every component that moves when you pull your trigger, make sure it's oil on it. So the thing about this one is, you don't want the oil just to sit. You want to put the oil on. Anywhere where there's extra oil, give it a wipe down. Anywhere where you see any extra oil, it shouldn't be. If you using this tube that I just had, it shouldn't be no extra oil. There should be minimum. See, so you don't want inside of this area to be full, heavy oil. You want it just to be lubed, where it's just slight oil, is not dry, is not caking oil, because as you see, when I started cleaning this area, it was heavy dirt inside here. So if you got heavy oil inside here, when that dirt meets with that oil, that's what clogs up your gun. That's when your gun start malfunctioning and you start having problems with your gun. You don't want that. So you just want a light oil inside here. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to get this brush inside there to move that oil around, and then I'm going to just wipe it off. Because that's going to move that oil around, get it oiled up, and I'm going to just wipe it off. Not dryer, but just wipe it down. Alright, so now, all of your oil that's inside here, you're not wiping that down. You want to keep the oil that's sitting inside there, you want to keep it inside there, because one fact, you didn't move your gun. You didn't move any components inside there yet. So you put your gun back together. To grease up your oil, to start off, you're going to grease up your spring. Now that little bit of oil that you dabbed inside your spring, every time you cock it back, that oil is being moved around inside of your spring. So you cock it back quite a few times. Pull your trigger. All right. Now, that should have did it. If you didn't notice your gun was cocking back a little bit rough, or firing, your trigger was a little bit harder to pull, after you clean this gun, you're going to be like, it wasn't that smooth to cock it back before. It's definitely gonna look good because it's gonna be clean, baby. Nice and oiled up, clean. And you wanna cock it back quite a few times because what you're doing is, first, you getting your spring oiled up. That's oil that was in your spring, you moving that around inside there. The oil that you put on the groove of the top of your hammer, that oil is moving around when you move that as well, right? All of your components on the top half where your hammer is at, where your pin is at, all that oil that you drop down inside there, that's being moved around. So that's what you're trying to get right now. Soon as you finish, is get all that oil moved around inside there, shift around so that it ain't just sitting in one place being caked up. Next thing next. Check your barrel. Make sure your barrel ain't greased up as much. Make sure that it's not heavy on grease. So I'm just gonna pull everything apart. I already saw inside of my spring was real good. Get my barrel, one more wipe down. Yes. So that's good. Yes, that's good. So when you're all finished up, take your rag, your cloth, or your rag, whatever you was using to wipe everything down with. Take that and give her a good wipe down. No oil exposed anywhere. Give her a good wipe down. And you are all done. So that is the quick and clean and out process of cleaning your Glock 9. And if this helped anybody out in the slightest way, give me a like, hit that subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you can see these videos soon as they hit in YouTube. So talk to me and I'll talk back. So until the next shootout,